the 2 yards that they need on the third down. This is the play a lot of times where you'll see teams go for 6.
D'Arienzo far side. Hammond to the near side. Delaware is going to play it safe. They're going to pick up the first down as they've got Cason fighting for yardage here at the 44-yard line. Nice bit of gutsy running by John Cason, running right into the teeth of that Temple defense, and it's a tough one. Nobody, with maybe the exception of Pittsburgh, has really rolled over the Owls. Pittsburgh shut them out 35-0, but they've been in every other contest.
Now Delaware's got 4 more plays to work with.
First and 10 for their own 44. Hammond unable to hold on to the football as he was being chased by Purvis Herder. And Hammond will track back to the huddle now. Unable to hold on to that throw by Webster.
And we'll take a look on the instant replay. From where we were sitting, we couldn't see what the problem was. Right in his hand.
Just a little bit too long. Unable to bring it in. He's the touchdown maker for the Hens. 11-yard reception early. Pass thrown by B.J. Webster under fierce pressure. Here is the counter crisscross. And it works as Slagle almost has that ball torn loose from him. Going for the football for the Owls was number 13, Ray Barnard. And he almost got it away from Slagle, but Slagle does manage to pick up major yardage. Picks up 7. Third down and 3 upcoming in Temple territory at the 49. Glenn Holmquist. Virginia will be beckoning Delaware next week. Reeder doesn't get the block that he needed from Cason. The cornerback just came up, and as Cason tried to throw the block.
He got the first down, though.
He did get the first down, but he could have gotten a lot more had Cason been able to take out the corner. Watch it on the replay. The pitch to Reeder, and then Cason wants to throw a block, but Purvis Herder says, no way. He just stuffed everything back.
He did slow him up just enough, though, I think, to allow for the first down. He got in his way.
First and 10 for Delaware at the 45-yard line of Temple, but the Hens need to strike quickly here. Under 10.5 minutes remaining. Webster. Hammond.
Interference. No.
And the official rules everything is okay, but there was some contact, Howard, at about the 17, 18-yard line.
I'm guilty. I did it. I called it before it happened.
Well, you and about 15 other thousand.
Yeah, let's take another look. We're not going to see it, I don't think. There it is.
Now, right before Hammond came into the picture, there was a little bit of contact, but the officials rule no harm. Second down and 10 at the 45-yard line. Cason with the counter crisscross, and he has got a first down at the 33-yard line. John Cason running with as much authority, Howard, as I've seen him run with in a couple of years.
John Cason is playing like a man possessed.
Cason, of course, started his collegiate career at Villanova. When they dropped football, he came to Delaware. First down at the 32-yard line of Temple for Delaware. But Temple leads it at 23-9. Webster, Pontiakis, and he has stood up right at the line of scrimmage and knocked off his feet. First on the coverage was Paul Dara with help. But Dara, the linebacker on the left side, and the outside linebacker at that, makes the hit against Pontiakis.
Matt McHugh, also the right tackle, was in on that.
Ron James has come into the Delaware offensive set, and he is now in motion. James. Ron James.
What a nice sidestep he made there. He was almost caught about 10 yards back further. And I'll tell you, That play got off shaky because James did not have good control of the ball when he first got it.
Here's another look at
See it again.
They want to get James in there to utilize his speed to the outside. He almost bobbles the pitch out.
Oh, what a great move.
And he does step out of bounds here at the 16-yard line. 1st and 10 at the Temple 16. Reeder, not a whole lot, as he goes crashing down in the arms of Henderson. Hirschman, Todd Hirschman, number 7, wrapping him up at the 14. Just a 2-yard pickup.
The inside of that Temple defensive line is not giving up a lot.
Not a whole lot at all.
Straight plays. Now they've been fooled a couple of times on the counter crisscross for good yardage.
Poniakis splits to the far side. Hammond to the near side. Slagle now in motion. Cason is back in. Cason with the handoff, and he is fighting for yardage, but not a whole lot. Again, Hirschman is there. This time, Bob Balkunis also there, the inside linebacker on the left side. 3rd and 5 upcoming for Delaware at the Temple 11-yard line. And Sager brings the play in from the bench as Poniakis goes off.
B.J. Webster apparently doesn't agree with the play that was sent in.
And Delaware, with Webster going to the sideline, the Hens have asked for a timeout. That's their
Super E Plus, a new symbol for excellence in energy-efficient homes. For years, home buyers have needed a program that certifies energy-saving construction. So Delmarva Power, with the help of builders and architects, has developed Super E Plus. The result? Year-round living comfort, high retail value, and money-saving efficiency. To find out more, contact your Delmarva Power District office and discover the benefits of Super E Plus.
The home field has not proven to be much of an advantage for the Hens this year. They have 2 wins here at home, and they have dropped 3 contests. They will be on the road the next 2 weeks. James Madison down in Virginia, and then Rhode Island up in Kingston. 3rd down and 5 at the Temple 11-yard line. The Owls look to be coming. They are all alone. Danny Reeder. B.J. Webster, being the pressure for the 2nd time, gets the football to Dan Reeder. And I'll tell you, maybe that's the play that B.J. suggested on the sideline.
Either that or it was the one Tubby called and convinced B.J. was right. Paul Chakottis made that play happen. B.J. Webster was just about to be sacked, and Chakottis picked the man up.
Lane will hold. Gasson kicks it. Looks good. It is good. There is a timeout here at Delaware Stadium. The Blue Hens have closed the gap to 23 to 16. And here's another look. Here's Dan Reeder.
See that block again. Here it comes. There it is, right there. Look at
Chakottis just takes out the Owl who was putting the heat on Webster, and he finds Reeder. Bowles, the rover back, almost getting to Webster, but then Chakottis did his job. And Webster completed his job, hitting Reeder out of the backfield. Reeder just straight up the middle, and they didn't pay much attention to him. And it's now a 23 to 16 count.
And 30 seconds ago, time was a big factor. Now there's a lot of time.
Well, I'll tell you, Paul, Howard, in all honesty, Delaware is 3-3. Temple's 1-5. We've seen a good football game, but no matter what the outcome of this contest, I think the Delaware fans have got to go away with the feeling that this is a very resilient young group of football players that Tubby Raymond has.
They came here to prove something today, and like he said, win or lose, up to this point so far, I think they've proven it.
Unofficially, 71-yard drive, 12 plays, took just under 5 minutes for Delaware. The touchdown pass, 11 yards, Reeder. And here's Purvis Herder. Herder out over the 30-yard line. The ball may have just momentarily come free as the Blue Hens dive for it. 23-16, Bill Maley on the sideline, checking in with us now.
That touchdown pass by Webster was an excellent play by him. What he would like to do on that is roll out and use a lot of the field, but he was choked off by one of the linebackers, had to find a receiver quick and did it. But that's all said and done now. It's up to the Delaware defense to hold him so we can get the ball back in good territory.
That it is. 1st and 10 for Temple at the 31-yard line. Now it's Palmer. And this little scat back from Potomac, Maryland. He quickly gets Temple 7 yards, just like that. Give him just a little bit of daylight, and he'll go quickly.
Well, before the game started, I said the key might have been the punter. But obviously I wasn't aware of this young man's ability.
And not too many people have been able to run straight at the Blue Hen defense, Howard.
Maybe it's because he's so small. I don't know.
2nd down and 3 at the 38. Carter in motion to the near side. Reardon. Carter cannot dive and bring it in. Up here at the 35-yard line.
A little bit overthrown. He was certainly open.
Reardon having the time to throw. Reardon's stats in the first half, he only put the ball up 6 times, hit on 5 of them for 95 yards. He was sacked a couple of times. We really expected to see more aerial works by Reardon.
I think so, yes.
3rd down, big 3rd down for the Hens. 3rd and 3 at the 38-yard line. Palmer, he's not going to get the first down. The Blue Hen defense stacks everything up right at the 40-yard line, and Temple will be short. Vaughn Dickinson is on the bottom of the stack.
He came close. He made a good effort. And we should hear a nice round of applause for the Delaware defense as they come off the field.
And a well-deserved round of applause. 4th down, 1. Schenefeld on the kick. And Delaware has got 10 men at the line of scrimmage. The Blues coming, and they knock Schenefeld down. Campbell's got the football at the 25-yard line, but Schenefeld got knocked down as Delaware went for the block of the punt. Well, that's something that you chance when you go for the kicker.
Once you've committed yourself, here it is. I think it was Mike Harris. I may be wrong. I probably shouldn't say that.
It was. Harris got to Schenefeld, and he got him halfway decent, to be honest about it.
Yes, he did.
And this one will be not 5 for running into the kicker, but the big one, 15 yards. And that gives Temple a first down at the Delaware 45-yard line, roughing the kicker, the official call. And the Owls will have new life, and Delaware now looks to need a turnover. 23-16, Temple leading with 6.5 minutes to play. Len Holmquist and Howard Gesner at Delaware Stadium next week on the road at Virginia and James Madison University. Palmer, and again he just slices for 5, 6, 7.
Greg Robertson finally got him.
This little freshman is just finding seams everywhere in the Delaware offensive front. He's getting the good upfield blocking, the up-front blocking provided by Jim Presto, Don Reenstra, Mike Berger, the center. He's an outstanding center. 6 on the pickup. 2nd down and 4 at the Delaware 39. Palmer again, and a first down. Delaware had to have Joe McCrail track him down for the stop. First down and 10 for the Owls, trying to salt this one away with this drive. And if not 6, at least get it closer for a field goal attempt by Jim Cooper. Cooper has hit from 42 yards, but remember on that occasion he had the wind at his back. Harmon, he runs into a stone wall. Vaughn Dickinson got there in a hurry, and then he had help.
Well, I tell you, we found out the reason that Harmon hasn't been carrying the ball so much, and it's not so much Roderick Moore, who has been alternating with him as a starter. It's more Palmer.
Palmer had only 35 yards rushing in the first half. We now have him unofficially with 115 yards. Second down and 10 at the 32. Harmon picking up nothing on that first down play. Palmer. And they are going for the football of the Hens, but he holds on to it and just punches forward for a couple of yards.
I think an important fact to remember here right now, Len, is that the Temple field goal kicker was warming up in the first half, and he was kicking them from the 50-yard line. And that's 60 yards. Now, he had the wind at his back, but the wind is not blowing as briskly now as it was at the beginning of the game.
No, I was just ready to point that out. It is not blowing that briskly. Third down and 8. Delaware needing to stop the Owls right here. Palmer getting him low and tripping him up is Captain Greg Robertson. He got out of Robertson's hold or hand, whatever, and then falls forward. He will be short of a first down as the football is placed down at the 26-yard line. Fourth down, and Cooper is going to come on and try the field goal.
Big decision here for the Temple coaching staff. There might be a little temptation to try and go for the first down. They're pretty deep in Delaware territory, and of course the 3 points also looks good.
Especially if they could hit it, and with the clock running with under 3:45 to play. 42-yard attempt. Crosswind. Here's the kick by Cooper. It's not going to make it.
I think it was deflected.
It is not going to be making it. Jim Pulaski is going to run it out from beyond the end zone.
Common sense took over. I think if we get a chance to see this again, I think you might see a Delaware player get a hand on that ball.
But Cooper comes up short, kicking into the breeze. And Delaware will take over at the spot of where the ball was snapped. Remember, it was outside of the 20-yard line. So the Hens will take over on the 26-yard line. Bill Maley's on the sidelines, and he's got a bird's-eye view of the Hen offense right now. Bill?
There's 3 minutes left now, but they've still got plenty of time to mount a drive. So just look for the short passes. I don't think they need the bomb right yet.
On first down, they're going to feed the football to Dan Reeder, and he's not going to find any running room whatsoever as the Owls choke him off very nicely. Ken Stubilow, he's the senior left tackle from Huntington, New York. He makes the stop. Just a yard pickup, second down and 9. At the 27-yard line. D'Arienzo into the near side. That's Cason setting up as the wingback. Now he comes back in motion. Webster throwing it up and throws it out of bounds. He wanted to hit higher here at about the 30-yard line, and D'Arienzo is another 5 yards downfield. But he had pressure put on him, and D'Arienzo is going to trot off, and Hammond will replace him as the Temple sideline, giving directions to their defensive unit. Third down and 9. Delaware needing to convert here with the clock showing under 4 minutes, then stopped on the incompletion. Here's the counter crisscross and just stacking everything up real nicely. Delaware unable, and the fans don't like the call, and I'm a little surprised at the call myself.
The blocking got jumbled up in the middle there, and actually Tim Sager was in the way.
And there were a couple of other Blue Hens in the way, and Anderson will punt it with a breeze at his back. Young is deep for Temple. Signaling for a fair catch here at the 35-yard line. And Temple will take over and now just look to run out the clock and run out the opportunity on Delaware to upend the Owls.
I'll be surprised if they put the ball in the air right here. I would look for 3 running plays to run as much time off the clock as possible. Then call on Chenefelt to do his thing and put the Hens deep in their own territory with maybe a minute, even under a minute left to play in the game.
Well, Reardon has gone sour here in the fourth quarter. He's missed on his last 5 attempts. He's going to pitch the ball to Palmer. Palmer skitters away from a couple of Blue Hens and manages to pick up yardage. He's only a freshman, and I'll tell you, if he gets a little bit of size on him, but I gather at his age, he's not going to get a whole lot more size, but he's a good one.
He's quick.
He had only picked up 225 yards in the previous 6 games, and we have him unofficially with over 115 yards. Second down and 9. At the 37, the clock under 2 minutes now. Palmer. Nothing. And the Hens utilize a timeout.
The Tyrolia Total Diagonal System. Today's skier demands the most advanced high-tech equipment. Tyrolia's new diagonal reflex toe and the exclusive diagonal release heel work perfectly together as a total system. The Tyrolia Total Diagonal System lets you set your own limits. Anything else is left. Step up to the performance of the best-selling binding in the world, the Tyrolia Total Diagonal System.
Experience riding wide-open roads with true performance. Two-wheeled Cycle combines a complete line of quality bicycles, accessories for every cyclist's need, and service to optimize performance of your present bicycle. Come in and talk with experienced professionals. See what's new on two wheels and ride into the experience.
In today's world, old values are still important. Values like hard work, dedication, and attention to detail. A belief that results are important, that people deserve service and reliability. B. Gary Scott Realtors believe in doing things right. Try us. B. Gary Scott, your key to a better tomorrow.
Have a safe and enjoyable Halloween from WNS-TV, Wilmington, Newcastle.
That five-game losing streak right here. Third down. Delaware's coming. Pass is thrown. Marshall's making a diving try for it. The official says no. Marshall is probably not too happy with the call. Flag was dropped immediately as the snap. There was a flag on the play.
It was only a mild protest on the part of Marshall, though.
This one's going to go against Temple, and I believe that, well, Delaware will decline it. They want the football, of course. Marshall diving for it, and very hard to tell. Looks like it may have hit the ground as he was falling.
Now, like I say, he didn't protest very loudly. He put up a mild protest. But...
And Temple will be forced to punt. The clock stopping on the incompletion with 1:36 seconds. Delaware will get the football, one timeout, and they're going to try to get to Schenefeld again. They roughed him up last time. They don't get there again. Again, the flag goes down. Campbell, Delaware gambling twice, and twice it has cost the Blue Hens. This time it's Jimmy Newfrock who runs into Schenefeld, and Temple will get the football, and they'll be able to run out the clock. It's just that simple.
And it was only a 32-yard punt. Here, we'll take another look at it. Here he comes. Well, see, he committed. He left his feet and committed himself. And
Schenefeld in the air. Newfrock gets him right on the foot just as the ball is released.
And that was called roughing.
Now that was called running into the kicker.
Right.
Well, Delaware gets a break here because that's only a 5-yard step off. And remember, Temple needed more than 5 yards, and they're going to punt it over again. And I don't think the Hens are going to come this time, although they've got 10 men stacked at the line of scrimmage.
They didn't give him 5 yards either. They only gave him 4.
This time, everything goes okay. Campbell comes on the football at the 30-yard line. He is down at the 34-yard line. And Delaware, in reality, Howard, getting a break.
Yes,
that could have easily have been called roughing the kicker. I've seen it called roughing the kicker for a lot less than that.
That was only a 30-yard punt also. Unless my arithmetic is off. 22.
Delaware needing to go 66 yards with 1:20 left on the clock. First and 10 from their 34. Webster He delivers the football. It's almost intercepted. Tom Kilkenny getting a hand on it for Temple. Almost with the interception. D'Arienzo, the intended receiver.
It's a good thing Kilkenny got his hand on it because D'Arienzo would have had the ball. Here it is.
Kilkenny reaching back, and D'Arienzo was open.
Yes, he was.
As Herder was coming up quickly on D'Arienzo. Second down and 10 at Delaware's 34-yard line. Webster, too high, intercepted. Herder has got the interception, I believe. And now a flag goes down.
Oh, it was either too high or too low. He also had Case on a little bit further.
Herder with the interception, and then a flag dropped as Herder may have been followed on a little bit too late by one of the Blue Hens, and he'll come off, and that will kill Delaware's last shot, barring a turnover here, to defeat the Owls, and Delaware is going to drop below 500 after 7 games into the season for the first time in a long time, Howard.
That's a personal foul against Delaware.
Ball stepped off to the 34-yard line. Clock showing 1:07. And Reardon is not about to get fancy here. He's going to give it to the sure-handed Palmer, and Palmer just dives into the stack. And right now, individual statistics as far as Paul Palmer is concerned don't mean a thing because the Owls are in the process of snapping what has to be a frustrating losing streak of 5 in a row. Frustrating, Howard, in the sense that they've been in most of those games.
That's right. I was talking with the assistant SID from Temple before the game, John Everett, and he said they really think they should have won at least 2 of those games that they lost. And he's talking about Penn State as one of them. Of course, Penn State had to score late in the game to beat Temple.
And now here's a strange call. Delaware had let the clock run and run and run, and now finally call a timeout with only 41 seconds left to play. If they wanted to call a timeout, the Hens should have very quickly asked for a timeout after Palmer was stopped, but they let the clock run, utilized their last timeout. Delaware will take the action on the road, and maybe that's a good spot to be at 3 and 4 in the campaign.
Before the game, the consensus seemed to be that for Delaware to win this afternoon, they would have to play perfect or just perfect football. And I'll tell you, they came close. They've only turned the ball over 3 times this afternoon, once on an interception and 2 fumbles. But apparently that was just 3 turnovers too many because Temple took advantage of them.
Reardon will just follow the football back here at the 35-yard line. The clock will not be able to be stopped anymore by the Blue Hens, and Temple is snapping their 5-game losing streak. They're going to send the Hens down to their 2nd straight defeat and their 4th on the year.
In today's world, old values are still important. Values like hard work, dedication, and attention to detail. A belief that results are important, that people deserve service and reliability. B. Gary Scott Realtors believe in doing things right. Try us. B. Gary Scott, your key to a better tomorrow.
From Citizen, the watchword.
Available locally at the Big Elk Mall, Elkton, Maryland.
When my small business grew, I talked to the people at Entree Computer Center. At Entree, they took the time to find out what my business needs were. They introduced me to affordable, reliable computer systems, and they even offer classes, installation, and continued service after the sale. Because the Entree franchise of Wilmington is privately owned, I received professional, personalized service from people who understood my business needs.
Delaware dropping below 500, and it, as I said before, it's been a long time since the Hens have been below 500 at this stage in the season. But James Madison University is to be reckoned with by Delaware 1 week from now on the road down in scenic Harrisonburg, Virginia. Temple just standing back in the huddle. We have reached, well, we haven't reached it quite because the clock has stopped as Temple has run out of time and to step off for a delay of game penalty. While we have the opportunity here, we'd like to thank David Hyde for providing us with our statistics. Temple happy to win, I'm sure. And while Delaware goes to Virginia to play James Madison University, Temple is going to be going a little further south, a little to the east, to Athens, Georgia. And the Georgia Bulldogs await Temple's Owls. And then after that, if everything doesn't go right or wrong for Temple, all they have to do is play West Virginia.
Well, the only thing they don't have to worry about next week is Herschel Walker. He won't be there.
But the final count here at Delaware Stadium, as you can see on the Bank of Delaware scoreboard, just a moment.
Super E Plus, a new symbol for excellence in energy-efficient homes. For years, home buyers have needed a program that certifies energy-saving construction. So Delmarva Power, with the help of builders and architects, has developed Super E Plus. The result? Year-round living comfort, high resale value, and money-saving efficiency. To find out more, contact your Delmarva Power District office and discover the benefits of Super E Plus.
Whether you're a world-class skier or in competition with yourself, you need a boot that puts you in control. Flex-On by Reichly. Its unique rib design flexes naturally. You'll notice an overall improvement in your skiing. Smoother, more powerful control, and day-long comfort. Natural Flex is the difference. Now available in 2 convenient rear entry models, the RX-7 with cable retention and the RX Air. Reichly, the Swiss art in ski boots.
Come see the Italian Stallions at Buck Cycle Shop. The high-performance 900 SCI Benelli, perfectly balanced 6-cylinder machine. The Laverda 1000 RGS has changed the form of sporting bike. The refined elegance of the Italian style, lightweight frame, and 1,000 cc of power. We're authorized dealers of Triumph, Bultaco, Moto Guzzi, Laverda, and Montesa. Also, we're authorized dealers of the Weed Hopper, the ultralight airplane. See them all at Buck Cycle Shop, 2701 Northeast Boulevard in Wilmington. Call 764-2876.
If you've never seen really delicious pizza being made, watch closely. If you had called Domino's Pizza when this commercial began, this could be your pizza. The Domino's Pizza Professional begins every pizza from scratch, custom made to your order. And our free delivery could be at your door in only 30 minutes. Steaming, hot, and delicious. When you call us, Domino's Pizza delivers.
Delaware will be kicking off to the James Madison Dukes to begin this weekend's action. And bringing back the kickoff for the Dukes from James Madison will be a very dangerous return man. He'll wear number 80. His name is Gary Clark. He's a senior, and he is one of the most dangerous return men in the nation. Kicking off for the University of Delaware will be number 7, John Gasson. Clark is standing right now about 3 yards deep in the end zone. Gasson will be kicking with a trailing wind. It is a breezy but very, very comfortable day here in Virginia's Shenandoah Valley. Bill, we look for a good contest. These two teams fairly evenly matched.
Well, both teams need a win. They were both coming off a couple of losses apiece, but the thing is, James Madison's been playing shaky football, and Delaware's coming off a good outing at Temple.
And Delaware will try to make it another good outing, but this time make it a winning effort as the football now blows off the tee. There is a gust now and then. We will have a wind at about a 15 to 20 mile an hour clip at times here at James Madison. The crowd's ready. Gasson's ready. The officials are ready. Gary Clark in the end zone for James Madison says he's ready, and we're underway. At the 2-yard line, And out to the 25-yard line. Crossing over the 25-yard line with the return is Robert Turner. Number 24, Robert Turner. He will be playing defense when the Dukes don't have the football, but he returns it along with Clark. And James Madison will have the football first and 10 at their own 27-yard line. This is an AstroTurf facility here at James Madison, which has only been playing intercollegiate football for about 12 years. Freshman quarterback Gus Miller. Very first play from scrimmage. And the freshman, wanting to get his feet on the ground, so to speak, Bill, he just takes it right up the center, and he's got 4 out to about the 32-yard line. In fact, he's got 5 to the 32-yard line, but he's a freshman. That's his first snap as a varsity performer here at James Madison.
Well, I don't think you should look for anything tricky right off the bat. I think they're going to try and give him a feel of the game, a feel of quarterback, and this is his first varsity game. In fact, he hasn't even played freshman games this year.
That's Gary Clark, number 80, split to the far side. Second down and 5 for James Madison. As now they set up Dave McKenna, the tight end here on the near side. And that's Danny Robertson in motion. The give is to the first back. And then Miller took a wicked hit after he had handed the football off. And crossing over the 35-yard line with the football is Dick McPherson. Number 35 is a sophomore, 5'11", 192-pounder.
Joe Quigg just introduced Miller into college football with a forearm to the head there, and if you're going to run the option and take the option, you've got to take those hits, even if you give away the ball.
McPherson picking up 4 on the second down carry. Third down and 1. Again, Clark to the far side. Danny Robertson will split out about 5 yards here into the near side, and now McKenna again sets up tight on the right side, and there goes Robertson again in motion. Miller, nothing. Delaware's defense, Charlie Bryce, number 97, reacting very quickly as the handoff went to McPherson. And Delaware snuffs James Madison on their first offensive series. In fact, McPherson on the play loses about a yard back to the 35-yard line.
Stop by Bryce and McGrail.
And the Dukes will send in their punting team. Mickey Stennett, number 3, will kick for James Madison. He is one of the leading punters in the country. Delaware will have Joe Campbell standing inside of his 25-yard line to return the kick by Stennett. High snap. Campbell signals fair catch, and Delaware will have it right at their 25-yard line. So Delaware's defense does its job. Delaware ball around, and it's a defense that has some changes made, and we'll go over those changes as we progress through the game, Bill. Delaware will have some offensive changes. The most notable change is going to be the absence of number 61, Mark Rossi, who underwent surgery this week, and his gap on the right side at right guard is going to be filled by number 1, 71, Paul Chakottis. Tim Sager opening at tight end, steps up to the far side. Cason. Cason's going to fumble the football, and James Madison is going to come up with it. The fumble recovery is made for James Madison by Brian Wisniewski. And for Wisniewski, that is his 4th fumble recovery of the year. He has really been the man on the spot for James Madison when the other team pumps the football up. And they'll have it at the 24-yard line. Another look at it.
12:40 remaining in this afternoon.
Dribble to the football, and then Wisniewski takes it. And James Madison has it at the Delaware 24-yard line. First and 10. Here is Clark. Joe Quigg smells it out. They're looking for Gary Clark. They have seen in the films that Clark will run the flanker around, Bill. They're waiting for him, and they drop Clark for about a 6-yard loss. Make it 7 back to the 32-yard line, but they're very wary of Mr. Clark.
Well, they respect him. He's returned 2 punts for touchdowns this year and 1 kickoff, and he's also run that reverse for a lot of yardage, so I'm sure they worked on that a lot this week in practice.
I understand, Bill, that they even changed their kickoff teams to put some of the front people in there against Clark.
Yeah, they put a couple of the defensive starters on the kickoff team just to make sure, they don't want any chances with the young guys in there. They'd rather go with the veterans.
Second down at 17, and Miller's going to throw it away. The freshman showing the strength of his arm. He throws it out of bounds. Intended for Clark on the far sideline, but he was covered very nicely. And Clark will come back to the huddle. Clark, here at 83, has 40 receptions for better than 635 yards. He has 6 TD catches. And last week, in a losing effort against Lafayette, he caught 11 balls, and that is a new James Madison record, single-game reception record of 11 catches for Gary Clark. The football now spotted properly. Back at the 32-yard line. It'll be third down at 17. Number 17 is Gus Miller. And here is the pitch back to Clark, and that is a lateral, Bill, and that's a live ball.
That's the old play. They throw it on the ground, make it look like an incompletion, hope the defense eases up. But really, when the ball's thrown behind the line of scrimmage like that, that's the same thing as a fumble. He could throw the ball. That's what he wanted to do. Delaware was looking for it, though. A good play by Newfrock to get up on him, and good play deeper in the secondary to cover the receiver going downfield.
So the ball is spotted back at the 39-yard line, I guess, on Aspen to get a truer count.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they wouldn't try that on grass unless it was late in the game and they had to.
Fourth down, and Sennett will punt it away again. Campbell will be looking into the right sun, standing inside of his 15-yard line. Sennett gets it off. And Campbell's going to signal for and make the fair catch at the 11-yard line. And Delaware's offense will come on. The quarterback, Joe Campbell, trots to the sideline. B.J. Campbell, number 11, opening at quarterback. John Cason, who fumbled on Delaware's first offensive play at one halfback spot. Chris Heyer will be at the other halfback spot, number 28. The fullback is Dan Reeder. This is Heyer in motion. Reeder, a little bit of running room out over the 15-yard line, close to the 16-yard line.
Well, a lot of fans complain about Delaware always starts off the game running the ball up the middle and running the sweep. But what that does, they end up shifting a lot. Delaware shifting right before the play or runs motion. They just want to get the defensive adjustments to it so they can set up something later in the game for it. So even though it looks like it might not be doing anything, it might help out later in the game.
That first down play went for 4, second down and 6, and now here's Delaware shifting into a slot. Cason in the slot. Flag goes down as Heyer crosses out over the 20-yard line, but the hands may be detected for procedure.
Chris Heyer on the carry. Stopped by Harrington. A two-door
Webster
is in the license plate number 399.
I'm talking to the officials. It's Tim Sager. And number 77 in the picture for just a moment. There he is. Gary Johansson. He is the opening center. Pat McKee, number 66, has moved over, and he's playing the right tackle spot. Across the line, 65, Randy Smith. Number 60 is Doug Martin. We will see Steve Paniakis, and he's into the contest now as Tim Sager goes out. Paul Hammond, who can set a milestone for himself this weekend if he can pick up 32 yards via the passing lane. Delaware hit with a penalty, second down and 11 on their own 10-yard line. Webster, little check-out pass out close to the 16-yard line with Heyer taking in the reception.
Pass complete to Heyer. Stopped by Evans.
And third down will be upcoming for the Hens. Our scoreboard clock is not operating properly. Third and 8 will be the call for Delaware, and Hammond will come into the near sideline. Heyer sets up as the wingback on the right side, and now here he comes in motion. Reeder tripped up very nicely.
I think James Madison was probably looking for that. Delaware ran that very successfully last week against Temple. And I'm sure James Madison had the films for that game.
Mike Setzer made the defensive stop. Setzer is the right tackle in a 3-4 defensive lineman that James Madison uses. Mike Anderson averaging 34.4 kicking. We'll be kicking it to Clark, and Clark is standing inside his own 45-yard line. Clark at the 45. And down quickly for the Hens to cover, and doing a very fine job is number 4 for the University of Delaware, and he snuffs out Clark as we've got an injured blue hen
Returned by number 80.
down on the ground.
Stopped by Harris.
Mike Harris made the stop for Delaware.
If you notice on that punt there, Delaware had Mike Harris out wide to the one side, Paul Hammond to the other side. The two fastest guys on the team. They don't want Clark to get away. Even though Hammond's an offensive player, they need his speed there.
And we have a blue hen shaken up on the 45-yard line. Down with the punting team. James Madison on the air, opened with a win over Appalachian State, 24-20. Then they lost to what was at that time a very fine University of Virginia Cavalier 11, 21-14. They bounced back to defeat Liberty Baptist 44-35. Completely outclassed Davidson 50-0. But then they have run into the losing side of the ledger. Delaware State beat them in a wild win, 38-28. William and Mary topped them 24-21. And Lafayette beat them last week 31-14 as the injured blue hen hobbles to the sideline. That's Clark, who is the reserve guard playing behind Randy Smith. Charlie Clark, he's up to the sideline. Delaware will set up defensively, and the Dukes of James Madison will have it right at midfield. Delaware and James Madison meeting for the first time. Clark this time splits into the near sideline as Miller hands it off to the first back through, and McPherson. Things do get a little fierce for McPherson. And they will give him a pickup of some 4 yards to the 46-yard line. They get 5 to the 45-yard line. Delaware's defensive front, Charles Price and Joe McGrail are the operating defensive tackles. Jeff Howdenshield, injured a week ago, is out. Miller's going to pitch it, and buying it right as he takes the pitch back.
That's Kenny Pulowski. That's a tough play for him. They send a lead blocker out to get him, and he has to fight his way around the blocker, then make the play. He made a good play on that.
Kelvin Griffin, who is listed as a defensive cornerback, took the pitch out, number 29. He's a freshman from Chesapeake, Virginia. And he loses about a yard back to the 46-yard line. Third down upcoming and 6. As twin receivers go to the far side. McKenna, the tight end, here on the near side. Going for Griffin, and it's intercepted. No interception is ruled, however. Joe Quigg coming down with the football at the 15-yard line, but that interception not to be allowed. Quigg has 1 interception on the year, that against Towson. But the official rules no, and Delaware's defense, again, stymies the Dukes. But James Madison has had the football offensively throughout much of this first half of the first quarter.
The defense has played well so far. In fact, on that play, James Madison matched up a running back with a linebacker, but Joe Quigg is an ex-strong safety. He can run with the back. He knows how to play with position.
And Stinnett, number 3, will punt it away again.
I doubt if you'll see Delaware go after too many kicks after last week.
This one to the far side. It's going to hit and bounce straight up in the air. And James Madison's just going to let it bounce around, and finally they decide to doubt it. I guess they were figuring maybe the third bounce it'll roll our way. But Delaware will have it on offense at the 27-yard line. First quarter action here. Our scoreboard clock is not operating here at James Madison Stadium, which is called Madison Stadium. So we cannot give you exactly how much time there is to play here in the first quarter. Hammond this time splitting into the near side. Higher and higher into a slew of purple shirts out of the 30-yard line, but he did advance the football for about 4 before he was shoved back. Across the defensive front for James Madison, number 52, Greg Dyer, a junior, 6'3", 240 from Roanoke, Virginia. Number 91 is the middle guard, Brian Fink, a junior, 6'2", 227 from Creston, Pennsylvania. And 74, Mike Setzer, a junior, 6'2", 234 from Clintwood, Virginia. Those are the 3 down linemen in the 3-4 defense. And here is Reeder. He's fighting for a first down out here at the 38-yard line. Danny Reeder hit repeatedly, but would not go down. Delaware achieves a first down. Well, they always want to call it a second or third effort, Bill, but I don't go along with that. It's just
that's a great effort, too. And Danny Reeder's fumbled the ball a bit this year, and a lot of people are getting on him about that. But the thing is, he takes a lot more hits than most people because he breaks away from so many tackles, and he ends up, it usually takes 3 or 4 guys to get him down, and, you know, occasionally one of those guys will pop the ball loose.
First and 10 from their own 38. Here's Webster. Needs a block in the corner, but he's not going to get that block. Paul Chakotis was running out in front of him, but could not throw an effective block. And he also had Doug Martin running in front of him. And he'll only pick up 1 to the 39-yard line. Second down and 9. Delaware feeling coming into the contest so that they could run the ball directly at James Madison. That's been said many times. The best thing to do with a 3-4 defense is run straight at it.
Well, James Madison's had his troubles this year. Lafayette gained about 450 yards on him last week, and they've really had trouble with the run.
Here's Martin's block, and Heyer has the football out here close to another first down at the 48-yard line, doing some nice cutting behind the block of Doug Martin. Martin is the senior guard. Heyer, a junior halfback from Rochester, New York. Chris comes into the game with 101 yards. That's a 4.4 rushing average. He has 1 TD via the rush. And he's also been an effective receiver for Delaware with 15 catches. And one of those catches, a brilliant reception against William and Mary for a touchdown. Third down, very short, but Slagle is going to be stopped behind the line of scrimmage on a fine defensive play by Brian Fink. He's the nose guard, number 91. And he came across quickly, utilizing his speed. And Slagle is stopped behind the line of scrimmage, and Delaware will send in its punting unit.
Well, if you want to run against that 3-4, you've got to handle the nose guard first off. He's usually the man that makes it or breaks it for the defense.
Clark this time back inside his 15-yard line as Anderson steps up to punt. And that's Harris to the far side and Hammond to the near side. As you pointed out, Bill, they want their 2 fast people on the outside to go down quickly. Clark. Anderson booms it. Clark is going to let it hit, and it'll roll into the end zone. And James Madison will have the ball at their own 20-yard line. Their worst field position here in the first quarter. Delaware turned it over on its first offensive play, and James Madison missing an opportunity to jump out to a quick lead when they could not convert that turnover for a score. We have a change at quarterback as number 11, senior Jerry Roadcap, who is listed as the third-level quarterback. He will come on to run the offense. Roadcap, a senior, 5'11", 181-pounder. And he is from Woodbridge here in Virginia. And he is going to take the hit and go down as Captain Robertson, Greg Robertson, smells out the play here at the 23-yard line. Roadcap, interesting story developed, Bill, during the week. It was not announced until like Tuesday that they were going to start Gus Miller, the freshman, over Roadcap, who is a senior and had figured well with Tom Bowles, the number 2 quarterback down, and John Roddy, the number 1 quarterback down, knocked out earlier against Virginia in the second game of the season. He figured it was his turn. Well, here they just a straight dive play into the center and not much, but they decide to go with the freshman over the more experienced senior quarterback. They're going for the future.
Well, they surprised a lot of people. I think Roadcap thought he had the job for sure. Miller, they were planning to redshirt Miller for the year and not use him at all. But I think the coach decided that they need to try something now and work for the future, like you said.
1-yard pickup on the last short carry. It'll be third down and 6 as Clark splits to the far side. Roadcap wanting to run, and Delaware's there. Delaware's defense very quickly closing any lane that Roadcap had seen, and Charlie Bright, who has really come on, he is a find. Delaware not expecting a lot of Bryce at the outset of the season. They were thinking in terms of a backup defensive tackle, but he has really come on and done the job for them.
Well, he's not that big, so they weren't expecting much out of him, but he's kind of in the Ed Braceland mold. Ed was only about 6 foot tall, and he was really wide like Chuck, but he could make the play.
Bryce, 5'11", 233-pounder from Reading, Pennsylvania. Then it's to punt it again. Delaware setting up a return. And Stennett booms it out of there. Campbell tracking it down, and he's going to get away from it. And Delaware again will have poor field position here inside the 18-yard line. Stennett getting a round of applause, and a well-deserved round of applause. Remember, that was James Madison kicking from inside their 20-yard line, and Delaware will have it inside of their 20-yard line here at the 19-yard line as Delaware huddles. First quarter action, no score. Delaware and James Madison meeting for the very first time. James Madison with designs on becoming a power in one AA football. This is Slagle carrying it, trying to clear out his own right end.
Ball carried by number 44, Tim Slagle.
Slagle, as Delaware is having some depth problems in the backfield, Bill.
Well, they moved Slagle all around. As you saw on that third down in the last series, it was third and short. They used him sort of as a fullback going right up the middle, and here they use him as a halfback. He's pretty versatile, but they need him the way people have been going down this year.
Slagle right now playing for John Cason. Cason may have been injured on Delaware's first series. Second down and 4. Slagle again on the carry, but Delaware's up-front blocking is not that effective. As James Madison hangs in there, Chuck Taylor is now operating as the nose guard, 54, a junior from Washington, D.C., played his football at a high school that's very familiar to Delawareans who follow Salesianum football, Archbishop Carroll. Taylor's high school stomping grounds. Delaware facing a third down and a long 3 here at their 26.5-yard line. Here is Slagle, and a flag is going to go down as he is bumped. Robert Turner, the quarterback, giving Slagle a shove, and a pass interference call is going to...
He had him covered pretty well. He didn't really need to do that.
Now the ball was thrown way ahead of Slagle, and then Turner came up and just gave him a shove. And as you can see, it's pass interference to call against. Here's the replay of it, and watch the shove right there. And the ball is already overthrown, or very close to being overthrown, and the official on the spot says pass interference, and Delaware will have a first down as they mark it at the 32-yard line.
It's a pass interference against James Madison. Delaware ball first is in.
So a break for the Hens on that third down and 3. Slot right formation that's higher in the spot. Here he comes. Reeder, but there's not a whole lot of room there as Taylor again just stays at home at the nose guard spot. Good size junior is Taylor, 6'1", 239-pounder.
Well, they're going to have to open up, it looks like, and pass the ball a little bit, but they're not going to be able to dump off the short ones as they did against Temple last week with this 3-4 defense. The linebackers will be right there. They might have to try something 10, 15 yards a little deeper with Hammond or D'Arienzo.
Just a 1-yard pickup, and Guy D'Arienzo is now into the ball game. He splits into the near side. That's Pontiacus set up tight on the right side. Webster, Pontiacus, a little collision, but everything is ruled okay.
No harm, no foul. There was no way he was going to catch that anyway.
We'll get another look at it here in just a moment, but I've got a feeling that we may have seen the last of John Cason for a little while. He was coming into this contest. Webster throwing it. Just a little bit of jockeying going on, but the receiver is there, and he's looking for a flag to be thrown. But Cason started the week with a sprained shoulder that he suffered against Temple. And he may have been bumped again. Third down and 9 for Delaware from their own 33-yard line. Webster under rush. He's going to pass it off, and we're going to have a flag thrown. Paul Chakottis is number 71. He knows that he can't take in that reception. Chakottis is from Gerardsville, Pennsylvania. Junior. He's playing in the place of injured Mark Rossi, who was operated on, and he is now out for the season.
Well, BJ's just looking for a white shirt to get rid of the ball, too. He doesn't look for numbers.
Yeah, but how many guys wear... He's probably thinking that's a 7 there, but there aren't that many guys that big who wear number 7.
Well, you never know what you can get away with. The refs might miss that. They've missed them before.
Dakota's trying to tell everyone on the side, hey, I don't have good hands. I'm a tackle. I'm a guard. Gary Gary Clark standing inside his 25-yard line. Dangerous return man for James Madison. Anderson
for Delaware.
gets it off. Clark is going to just let it hit, and it's going to take a Delaware roll and go out of bounds right around the 20-yard line. As Delaware had Hammond covering.
New ball first and 10.
So it's going to be James Madison football. Nothing first quarter action here at James Madison. Both of these teams, Bill, coming in, showed potent offenses, averaging right around the same mark of 377 yards a game, but we've seen a defensive struggle here in the early going.
Well, the Delaware defense has played pretty well, and I think that's kind of held James Madison down a little.
Intercepted. Charlie Bryce with the interception on a ball that I know Roadcap would like to have back again. Jerry Roadcap, he just unloaded when he shouldn't. And Charlie Bryce, who has been an outstanding find for the defense of Delaware this year, does the job, and Delaware gets the turnover at the 16-yard line as Charlie gets all sorts of congratulations here on the sideline.
It looks like he figured if an offensive lineman can have the ball thrown to him, he can get the ball in the defense, too.
First and 10 at the 16-yard line for Delaware. Let's see if the Hens can cash in. Higher. Martin's in front of him, higher to about the 10-yard line, maybe inside the 10-yard line, getting that leading block from pulling guard Doug Martin.
Ball carried by Chris Higher.
And Higher taking his time, adjusting the uniform. Trotting back to the huddle. Higher from Rochester, New York.
As you said before, both teams have moved the ball well this year, and I think the Delaware defense is what held James Madison today, but I think James Madison's seen the wings he wants this year already with Del State, so they know what adjustments to make. Del State moved the ball, and I think they've adjusted well.
Second down and 3. This is Reeder. He finds a hole, but that hole quickly closes off the right side. He'll be close to a first down. Delaware needing to pick up 3 on that second down call as the purple shirts get off the ground. Brian Wisniewski. And that is the end of the first quarter in what was a defensive struggle, but now here is Delaware with an opportunity as we will begin the second quarter of play here at Madison Stadium on the campus of James Madison University in scenic Shenandoah Valley, Harrisonburg, Virginia. 0-0, Delaware and James Madison here at the end of the first quarter.
Hello and welcome to H.A. Winston's. At H.A. Winston's you can enjoy a variety of warm and comfortable atmospheres, whether for dinner or for cocktails.
The menu features our world-famous onion soup, fresh salad.
Don't forget the free salad card.
And Italian specialties, fresh seafood, and fine chicken delicacies.
Top off your meal with one of our homemade desserts.
The friendly and courteous service invites you to relax and enjoy yourself at H.A. Winston's.
100 Elkton Road in historic Granary Station, Newark, Delaware. Won't you join us?
See the Italian Stallions at Buck Cycle Shop. The high-performance 900 SEI Benelli, perfectly balanced, 6-cylinder machine. The Laverda 1000 RGS has changed the form of sporting bikes. The refined elegance of the Italian style, lightweight frame, and 1,000 cc of power. We're authorized dealers of Triumph, Bultaco, Moto Guzzi, Laverda, and Montesa. Also, we're authorized dealers of the Weed Hopper, the ultralight airplane. See them all at Buck Cycle Shop, 2701 Northeast Boulevard in Wilmington. Call 764-2876.
We'll be back again tonight at 10 with all the latest news, weather, and sports.
When First State News 5:30 edition goes off, the First State News team doesn't lock up and go home. On the contrary, they're back out on the streets finding the latest news for First State News' 10. Fresh news, factual, informative, complete. The kind of news you expect and the kind we're dedicated to providing no matter when it happens.
There may be one in your house, a room you may not want anyone to enter because of the floor, hideous and worn out. That's why Tile and Carpet Outlet is having a special offer on the timeless beauty of Congolium no-wax vinyl flooring. Buy 14 or more yards of Congolium and we'll give you one of these phones, free. So turn a hideous nightmare into a beautiful new floor at Tile and Carpet Outlet.
Available locally at the Big Elk Mall, Elkton, Maryland.
Led home quest, and this weekend Bill Maley at James Madison University. Second quarter action ready to begin as Delaware, following a pass interception by defensive tackle Charles Bryce, has a first and goal at the James Madison 5-yard line. D'Arienzo is fleeing way out of our picture into the near sideline. Higher. He will be stopped short of the goal line at about the 2-yard line. First man to make contact with him was Mike Arrington. Arrington is the right outside linebacker, and Higher goes down at the 2-yard line. Second down and goal for Delaware.
They've had trouble punching it in from inside the 20 this year, so let's hope they can do something here with the ball, get some points on the board.
The play coming in from the bench, brought in by tight end Tim Sager as Steve Pontiakis comes out. Second down, goal from the 2. Reeder, and he is met, but he is in for the score. He was stood up, but the official ruled that he had crossed the imaginary plane, and Delaware strikes first here at James Madison. The Hens getting it on the pass interception, and then they convert. And the 2-yard touchdown burst as Reeder is stood up at the goal line. But Delaware has scored first. John Gasson, will be on to try to make it 7 for the Hens. He's missed 3 times. He hits it. It is no good again. He has now missed 4 times. Didn't get a very good foot into it.
Well, that might have been partially blocked. Somebody came in there awful fast. Let's see if we can see who that is.
Well, we're going to get another look at the touchdown. So watch Reeder. He breaks the imaginary plane, and he is met and stood straight up and then pushed back. But the line judge had ruled that he had crossed the goal line, and Delaware leads James Madison here at 6-0. The extra point try by John Gasson is no good. Gasson missing for the 4th time here in 83.
I'm sure Gasson's going to try and keep the ball away from Clark here, too.
Kicking field goals, Gasson hasn't done too bad, Bill. He's 4 out of 5, but his extra points have been very shaky.
Well, you never know. It's a lot of psychological, there's a lot of psychological,
a lot of psychological things happen when you're kicking the football.
That's what I meant to say.
Of course, as an ex-holder, as an ex-field goal holder, you know that it's just not the kicker himself. It's the snapper, it's the holder. Everything's got to work just perfectly.
Oh, a lot of things run through those guys' minds when they're down there. You know, it's something that can't be explained.
Gaston will kick it, and as you pointed out, try to keep it away from Gary Clark. Clark standing about a yard deep in the end zone, and he is going to keep it away from Clark. It'll be Turner again at the 15. 25. Spun around and finally dropped here at the 27-yard line. A whole host of white shirts had a shot at him.
I think they'll gladly give him the ball at the 25, 30-yard line just to keep it out of the hands of Clark.
James Madison now trailing here at 6-0. Both teams, as we pointed out a couple of times, trying to snap losing streaks. James Madison has lost 3 in a row. Delaware losing last week to Temple. And the week before that, surprised by Towson State. First and 10, road cap at quarterback from the 27, and he's going to throw it here to the near sideline and throw it behind the intended receiver Clark, but Jimmy Newfrock up very quickly to cover for the Hens.
Well, I think if they want to get the ball to Clark, that's the way to do it. Delaware's going to respect him deep, and they're going to play off him quite a ways back. Hit the short ones, 5-10 yarders, and try and give him some room to run.
Sometimes, Bill, when you have one man who is so good, that really detracts from your offense because they pay so much attention to him, and your other people aren't that good to pick up the slack.
That's probably true.
Second down. Here is the pitchback, and it's being kicked around, but it is going to be recovered, I believe. Well, let's wait and see.
Delaware ball.
Delaware has the football. That is Sean Riley, broken finger and all for Sean, coming up with the football at the 22-yard line as Joe Quigg comes off, and James Madison giving it up to Delaware again here on a turnover, but the pitchback never handled cleanly. by the running back.
Delaware ball, first and 10 of the James Madison 23-yard
Way out in front of the running back, and then it's kicked around, and Riley is diving for it, and Sean Riley comes up with his 4th fumble recovery of the year. Webster, he throws it. Cason is back in, and he's got the reception here at the 10-yard line.
He looks like he was over the line of scrimmage when he threw the ball. He looked like he could have run the ball that far if he had to.
The flag was dropped as Webster unloaded the football. Flag dropped at the 20-yard line. And it is going to go against the Hens, and I think you have called it very accurately, Bill.
Well, that's something that Rick Scully did so well last year for Delaware. He was a good runner, but he used it a lot. When he went out there to throw the ball on the waggle, he would just turn it upfield a lot of times, and he was tough to bring down.
And, of course, the illegal pass as Webster goes in front of the line of scrimmage will also cost Delaware the down as the ball is placed back at the 25-yard line. Second down and 12. Higher, but he needs blocking help, and he's not going to get it. The Purple Dukes are looking for him. The play spelled out very nicely by the cornerback, Robert Turner. Turner is from Piscataway, New Jersey, a senior here at James Madison, as we have a Blue Hen shaken up here at the 28-yard line, and Delaware, that is Doug Martin. They can ill afford to lose another guard. They've already lost Mark Rossi. He's gone for the rest of the year, operated on in the middle of the week. Martin is down, and we saw his probable replacement, Clark, injured earlier. The Blue Hens huddling back here at the 35-yard line. Delaware leads it 6-0. A pass interception by defensive tackle Charles Bryce. And the Blue Hens capitalized on the turnover. Dan Reeder's 2-yard burst for the score.
Well, I'll tell you, we've seen Clark go out already, Martin and Cason go out with injuries, look like leg injuries. That might be due to the AstroTurf. That AstroTurf is hard. Also, your feet gripping it really well. You know, you could turn your ankle just running on it very easily. And hitting it's like almost like hitting concrete a lot of times.
Charles Clark will be the replacement. Clark is from Wilmington. Just a sophomore, 6'2", 233-pounder.
First quarter, Duke 7, Georgia Tech 6. Second quarter,
Delaware facing now a 3rd down and 12. Good to see John Gasson back in. He's setting up this time as a wingback to the far side. Hammond does get back. He had jumped off sides. Webster is going to throw the football to Heyer. Heyer at the 20. Heyer steps out of bounds here at the 16-yard line. Chris Heyer with the reception.
That might have got him into field goal range.
We're going to take another look at it here. But Heyer has really been a valuable asset to the Delaware offense. Running the football, he really showed his catching ability last week in the loss to Temple, I thought.
Oh, and he's an excellent blocker for Cason, too. And among other things, I think he's an underrated runner. What was it, second game of the year? He made a 30-yard touchdown run with a really nice boost. Not a lot of guys can do that.
Gasson to try a 33-yard field goal attempt. He has the leg, and it is good. So Todd Gasson, who has his problems with extra points, he is now 5 out of 6 in kicking field goals. This one a 33-yarder. And Delaware has upped its count here at James Madison to 9-0. Converting quickly on turnovers by the Dukes. At the tail end of the first quarter, Bryce with the pass interception, and Delaware took it in. Reeder doing the honors with a 2-yard run. And then Gasson, he makes the score Delaware 9, James Madison nothing with his 33-yard field goal. Tough to figure those kickers, Bill.
Well, he probably figures anybody can make the short ones and relaxes his mind a bit. Tries all out on the long ones.
9-0. Delaware with the lead now as James Madison deploys to return the kick. And Gaston will tee it up. He's probably got a few things running through his mind right now, wondering why, as you said, he can't make those short ones. And he can do well when it's a little bit further distance, when the angle's not exactly straight on. Clark again to set up deep, but they're not going to give him the football. You can rest assured of that. They kick it to the far side, and it'll be Turner again at the 10, to the 20, and he goes down here at the 30-yard line. The man who made the hit for Delaware and made a very effective hit for
It looked like Joe McHale was in on it, number 46.
Also getting down quickly was Gerber, Todd Gerber, number 18. He did a little kamikaze dive back at the 25-yard line and knocked Turner off his feet. And freshman Gus Miller will come back to run the offense. Roadcap giving up the interception and also the poor pitch out. So the freshman Miller is back in as James Madison trails it here at 9-0. Here is all sorts of motion, but now there's a flag, and Miller is going to throw a wobbly pass, and it's going to be almost caught here at the 45-yard line. Almost making the reception is Victor Job. Flags were thrown. It looked like James Madison had jumped, and the flags indicate that they had, but here is Miller, and he is unloading a wobbly ball.
Well, they just split the zone. They had Newfrost short and Kenny Pulaski deep, and even though Pulaski didn't get to the ball, that's what you hope for. He can hit the guy and make the guy drop the ball.
Job is one of the leading receivers for the Dukes. He has 15 receptions for better than 280 yards and a couple of touchdowns here in 1983. Motion the call against James Madison, but Delaware with the pass incompletion will decline the penalty. Second down and 10 from the 29-yard line. And Job this time splits into the near side. Clark to the far side. Put back. Miller under pressure. And he is going to just eat it as he is bounced out of bounds by Captain Greg Robertson.
Number 17, Gus Miller.
At just about the line of scrimmage. In fact, he may have lost about a yard. They have high hopes for Miller, Bill. They say and indicate that he is the best quarterback that they have recruited here ever at James Madison. That's not a long time because James Madison's only been playing intercollegiate football for about a dozen years or so. Used to be a women's teacher school at one time. And in the early 70s, they went to football and recruited from the registrar.
Well, they've got a beautiful campus, so I can see them getting a lot of people to come down here.
Miller, and he's going to be stacked up at the 30-yard line by the Hens, who react quickly. Good coverage downfield. And then Joe McCrail with assistance. Come down to knock Miller, the freshman, off his feet. Fourth down, and Stennett will have to punt it away again. Stennett has had a lot of legwork here in the first half of play. His average is 40.7, and he's had a year-long of 63. Campbell back inside the 25-yard line to return for the Hens. Delaware setting up a return. Stennett booms it out of there. Campbell tracking it down, and now he's going to fumble the football, and it goes out of bounds, and Delaware will retain possession, but Campbell with coverage coming down on him. Tom Gribben, number 13. He fumbles the football, but it goes out of bounds for Delaware. So the Hens, who have been really hit hard by turnovers all season long, Bill, that's been their Achilles heel, certainly.
Well, that was a long, high kick, and Joe Campbell's looking into the sun. He might have been better off just letting that go.
So Delaware, and we'll have to wait for the official spot. First down and 10
from their own
8-yard line.
This afternoon, first half.
A little bit of a problem picking up the exact spot of the football at this end of the field with bright sun. Reeder. This is Danny Reeder. He finds a gaping hole, and Delaware's leading rusher gets Delaware out to the 20-yard line. Just a fine run by Reeder. Got the good up front block from Johansson.
That was a good tackle by the cornerback, Mike Jones, too. When you're a little defensive back who weighs 170 pounds and you see 200-pound Dan Reeder coming, you kind of want to take him low and not go up too high and get run over. And he brought him down pretty well.
John Lobb is now in at the right offensive tackle spot, number 68 for Delaware, and he provided blocking on the last play, but there's not much there this time as Reeder is hammered quickly
Stop by Robertson.
Turner was there along with Wayne Robinson. Robinson is a freshman as head coach Chalice McMillan figuring at 3 and 4. It's time to look at some new people, see what's going to be coming up in the next 1 to 2 years.
From their own 17-yard line.
3rd down and 1. That was a 2nd down play as we did not have a 1st down pickup by Reeder, and Reeder just puts his head down and he will be close. I believe I spotted the ball incorrectly on the 2nd down play at the 20-yard line. It was at the 15-yard line. And Reeder this time is close enough for a measurement to be called for here at the 18-yard line. Punting goal, and Delaware turning the football over early, but James Madison unable to capitalize. Delaware has picked up, as you can see, the indication from the referee, a 1st down here at the 18-yard line. 1st down and 10. D'Arienzo goes out. Hammond will come in. Hammond, if he can pick up 32 yards in reception this weekend or in the course of the rest of the season, will join a rather exclusive club at Delaware, the 1,000-yard reception club. Remember, for many, many years, Delaware was not a throwing team. Reeder carrying the football out here over the 20-yard line to about the 22-yard line. So the Hens, in the history book, only have 4 receivers, Bill, who have gone over the 1,000-yard mark. Ron Withelder's number 1, Mike Krzyzewski's number 2, Jay Hooks is 3rd, Pete Ravitine is 4th, and Hammond can join that rather select group. 2nd down and a 6 call, long 6 coming up, and Reeder again carrying the football as Delaware again attacks that center of the defensive 3-4 alignment employed by James Madison. Stop made at the 27-yard line. Got a feeling the plays coming in now from the bench with D'Arienzo and Hammond.
3rd and 1 from their own 27-yard line.
3rd down and 1. Hammond to the near side. Sager sets up tight to the far side. That's Slagle in the slot. Reeder diving after taking the pitch out.
Ball carried by
We're going to have maybe a measurement, or did Reeder pick up the 1st down? Here's a replay as Webster goes down the line. Rather interesting call with 3rd and short yardage. Delaware pitching the football.
That's a high-risk play. You saw James Madison fumble earlier, lead to that field goal. Delaware's had trouble with turnovers. You'd expect them to stay away from the option for the rest of the year, especially on 3rd and short.
Reeder is stopped short, and Delaware will punt it away, leading here over James Madison at 9-0. Anderson to kick it. Gary Clark inside his 30-yard line to return it. Anderson gets a good snap, gets a driving kick, and Clark is going to signal for a fair catch as Mike Harris and Paul Hammond, the 2 wide outs for the Hens with the punting team, are down to cover. And also down there, number 53, he does the snapping. He's a quarterback by trade, snapper when they need him, John Fritz. Number 53 when he's centering the football, and number 13 when he's playing quarterback.
Well, that just shows you how important that job is of getting the ball back to the punter. They don't care what position you play. If you can get it back there, you're going to take that job.
Speaking of job, Victor Job is splitting to the far side, Clark to the near side, as Miller is running the offense that has not been too offensive here in the 1st half for James Madison. And he's not going to gain much here as Sean Riley has got him. And he had help.
Ball kept by Miller.
Let me make a quick correction. John Gannon, 55, and not 58, Sean Riley, making the stop.
From their own 33-yard line.
Gannon and Vaughn Dickinson, the defensive ends, Charles Bryce and Joe McCrail. McCrail is 94, a sophomore, 6'3", 235. He is playing at the defensive tackle spot on the right side in place of Jeff Howdenshield. Here is Schaaf. Schaaf running with the football. Jim Schaaf, a freshman, 5'10", 161-pounder. And he's got it close.
Well, they caught Delaware in a blitz there. That's a good call to to make against the blitz. You're getting people rushing in. You don't even need anybody to block them. They'll run right by the ball carrier.
Gay puts it down at the 39-yard line. Third down and 3. Delaware sideline, number 11, B.J. Webster. 21 is Guy D'Arienzo. Number 7, John Gaston. Job to the far side. Clark to the near side. Here is the hit by Joe Quigg. Delaware looking for the pitch back to McPherson, and Joe Quigg, who has just done such a stupendous job defensively this year. Phil, he is right on the spot again as Delaware's defensive coaches, they spot the play.
Well, Joe Quigg's like Chuck Price in a way. Both of those guys are a little small for their positions, but they both play with a lot of heart and always seem to make the play.
And McPherson sacked by Joe Quigg. The sack attack works again for the Hens. Joe, one of the leading sackers for Delaware, who the Hens average about 6 sacks a ball game. There has been nothing wrong with, for the most part, Delaware's defensive play here at 83. They're coming this time after Stennett. Campbell's got it at the 30, 35, and down he'll go at the 38-yard line. If Delaware's defense, Phil, has been guilty of anything here in 83, it's been the inability to stop the long play, the long ball by the opposition.
And that's true, and I think today they're trying to stop that a little bit. They've been sitting in a zone most of the day because they know they can get burned in that man defense when they get Clark out there by himself on a cornerback. And they're sitting in that zone defense, just challenge them to run at them.
First and 10 for Delaware at their own 38. The Hens lead it here. Second quarter action, 9-0. Delaware and James Madison meeting for the first time ever. Slagle from Elkton, Maryland, playing here in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And he puts the football out over the 43-yard line, close to the 44-yard line. Slagle had only carried the ball 15 times prior to today. 59 yards, his rushing total. He is a junior, a 194-pounder and a solid 194. D'Arienzo's putting into the near side. Second down and 5 for the Hens. Heyer has the reception. He'll be very close to a first down here at the 48-yard line. Chris Heyer. And Delaware again uses that short sideline pass, utilizing the backfield.
And they always seem to go to Chris Heyer. He's got the sure hands in that backfield.
And here on the near sideline, they're calling for a measurement, and we'll have to bring the chains all the way across the field. Just a picturesque day here in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. And the chains are stretched. First down for Delaware. Joe Quigg getting his say in on the sideline. First down for the Hens at their own 48-yard line.
First and 10 from their own 48-yard line.
And Steve Pontiakis from the sideline with the play. D'Arienzo goes out. Delaware utilizing a couple of wide outs, Hammond and D'Arienzo at times. Pontiakis this time is going to split to the far side, and Hammond to the near side. First and 10. Slagle, but he is knifed down quickly. Number 52 getting a hand on him, Greg Dyer. He's the defensive tackle on the left side, a junior from Road Oak. Good-sized young guy, 6'3", 240 pounds.
Oh, that defensive middle seems tough to run against to me.
And Delaware coming in, Bill, wanting to run against that defensive center. But so far, it hasn't really, it's bent a little bit. Ball at midfield, second down and 8. Again, a back out of the backfield, Slagle. And he has a first down at the 33-yard line of James Madison. Tim Slagle, as Delaware effectively again uses their halfbacks on the passing route, Heyer or Slagle.
Well, that might be a reason why they're so tough in the middle. Those linebackers are so worried about the middle. Tim Slagle can run outside and beat them to the corner.
And here's Slagle, and he's got about 5 yards of freedom in front of him. Spins away from one man, and then a necktie attempt. And Slagle goes down as Delaware has a first down at the 33-yard line of James Madison, leading and driving with the football. The score is 9-0, and here's Reeder behind a gaping hole, and he has the football now at the 25-yard line of James Madison. Dan Reeder, Robert Turner with assistance. James Hairston, another youngster playing for James Madison. Hairston is only a sophomore from Martinsville, Virginia, wears number 62, 6'1", 253-pounder. Second down and 2 at the 25 of the Dukes.
It's a good play to go deep if they want to.
Here is the pitch to Cason. He'll have the first down as he is knocked off his feet here at the 20-yard line. Delaware driving effectively.
They're mixing it up well. Short passes outside, runs up the middle with Reeder, and then an option to the wide side.
Charles Haley, one of the 4 linebackers employed in the 3-4. He's a tall one, 6'4", 211 pounds, from Gladys, Virginia. But Cason gets the blocking that he needs on the corner before Haley can get there.
Puts his head down, gets there for 2 yards.
First and 10. This is Delaware driving just about the length of the field, and just as the play starts to evolve, whistles are blown. As we are being told now, and the sidelines are being told, there are 4 minutes left to play here in the first half. That's why we have the whistles blow at the 4-minute mark, since the clock is not operating properly here at Madison Stadium.
Correction. No
4 minutes.
4 minutes left in the afternoon.
No flag thrown, just the whistles blown to indicate 4 minutes left to play here in the first half.
In the second quarter, Virginia Tech
An interesting drive for Delaware, Bill. They haven't driven the football this long all year from inside their own 10-yard line, and now they're at the Duke's 20-yard line.
It's good to see that. Right now they're in an unbalanced line. I'd look for them to go toward the left side of the field there, wide side.
First and 10 at the 20, and just a straight dive play.
They might have been looking to see if they get an adjustment. If James Madison didn't shift over that unbalanced line, then they're just going to run outside on the next play with it.
Reeder picks up 2. And D'Arienzo into the huddle. And we'll find out if Delaware did detect James Madison not adjusting. Well, now they're in a balanced line. Second down and 8. Webster's going to keep it, and he will step out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. B.J. Webster. B.J. has had his bright moments and his despairing moments here in 83, Bill.
That's true, but they've stuck with him. You got to stick with a quarterback like that, too. He came in and did a good job at the Westchester game when he came in. And he's done pretty well so far this year. You can't expect a whole lot out of a guy. I think fans were spoiled by Rick Scully over the last 3 years and forgot what it's like to have a young guy come in.
Third down and 3 at the 13-yard line of James Madison. Here is Delaware with motion. Webster is going to be stopped and thrown back, but Delaware was in motion.
I don't think the referee caught that, though. Like I said before, that might have been why B.J. tried to hit Chakotis with that short pass. Might try and pull one over your eyes.
John Gasson was definitely in motion, but no flag was thrown. Webster went down, and John Gasson, will try to come on and add a second field goal for the Hens. Mike Lane, who came a ways from Kittering, Ohio, to play football at Delaware. He holds it. Gasson kicks it. It looks good. No good. It's off to the right this time. Well, it's a little tough to call with our advantage here, but Gasson missing an extra point, then hitting a 33-yard field goal attempt. This time he is off to the right, and James Madison will take over with first and 10 on their own 20-yard line. And it'll be interesting to see. Miller is going to come in and run the offense, the freshman.
Well, with less than 4 minutes to go in the half, we're going to have to keep an eye on Clark, too. I'm sure they're going to try and get him the ball somehow.
Gary Clark, who has all sorts of pass receiving, punt return, kickoff return records here at James Madison University. And now Miller As he looks over the defense, says, I don't like that.
Well, he had the defense spread out that time. Two men wide to the wide side and and Clark wide to the short side.
Miller calling timeout. He'll go over and talk things over with the brain thrust of James Madison. James Madison, the university itself, comprises 6 schools: the College of Letters and Sciences, the School of Education and Human Resources, the School of Fine Arts and Communication, the School of Business, School of Nursing, and the Graduate School, and a wide variety of degrees on the bachelor's and master's level available here at James Madison. And it is just a picture postcard campus area. 365-acre campus. James Madison with 70 buildings, and many of them just built in the last 10 to 12 years, and a student enrollment of approximately 5,000 women and 4,100 men. Started out as a women's teachers school. Started playing interscholastic football in the early 70s with a JV schedule the first year. And they hope to develop as a 1AA power. Here is Miller. He's going to throw the football, and Clark can't bring it in. As Delaware's covering with 2 men, Newfrock and Quigg. Gary Clark, I guess, even in a losing effort last week with the 11 receptions, he had to be a little bit personally satisfied, although athletes, of course, the good ones will always tell you the records don't count at all when you lose, but today they shut him down.
Well, that just helps his confidence a lot, I think. You know, they might have lost, but in the back of his head during the week, you know, he's got it down that he can beat people when he wants to.
Second down and 10 inside the 2.5-minute mark here. Swing pass. This is Gobb after the 38-yard line. Well, let me correct myself. The receiver is Kelvin Griffin. Kelvin Griffin, listed as a cornerback, but he's playing as a swing receiver on that play.
You might want to chalk that one up to Clark, too. They double covered him. They sent Joe Quigg along with Newfrock with him. Usually they would leave Quigg in the flat there to cover somebody coming out.
First and 10 at the 38. Miller under pressure, and down he goes. McTrail's got him, or Vaughn Dickinson. Vaughn Dickinson has him wrapped up back inside the 30 at the 29-yard line.
This is really a tough spot for a freshman quarterback to come in, try and run the 2-minute drill when he hasn't even played, let alone run with this offensive group here.
The loss was for 9, second down and 19. McPherson, and he is trying to dance away from Harris and can't do it. And then Bryce was there here at the 30-yard line.
Knocked out of bounds by Harris.
Delaware will give them the short stuff. They just don't want to get beat deep.
We have no idea exactly how much time is remaining here in the first half. It'll be third down and 18. And Miller, he wants to go over and talk things with the sideline folks. Timeout for the Dukes. Delaware with an impressive drive on their last series, but unable to punch it in. And Webster was stopped for about a yard loss on a third down play, and then Gaston came on and missed a field goal attempt to the right. He has hit one from 33 yards. Delaware's touchdown was scored by fullback Dan Reeder after a pass interception by defensive tackle Charles Bryce. He'll not only get a game ball, Bill, but he's probably too old to get a big hit.
Well, that's quite a feeling for a lineman to get an interception. I know I appreciated getting one when I was a defensive back. I can't really imagine how they feel down there in the line.
Yeah, the Utahs are supposed to get them.
I know.
Charlie Bryce, he'll be talking about it for years. I remember that day well at James Madison when they threw the football right to me and I didn't drop it.
And I remember a couple years ago, there was a time in the middle of the season when I was tied for interceptions with tied for second on the team with interceptions with Joe Valentino. We both had 2. It's a little embarrassing to come into the locker room and have the lineman, hold up a ball and say, I've got just as many of these as you do.
Third down at 18 from the 30-yard line. Let's see if Clark can go deep. He is to the far side of the field.
The screen pass.
To Clark. Here is Gary Clark. And it's the last man who brings him down.
Kenny
Jimmy
Pulaski.
Duplock. So Ken Pulaski had to make the stop on Clark. You can see his dangerous
Clark's
running
limping off
ability.
the field, though. He might be hurt. Looks like an ankle.
Clark, as we get another look at it here, and he's got a couple of blockers in front of him, and then he just really does most of it on his own, and he's into the clear, and had not it been for Pulaski, he goes all the way.
That was a great play. That just shows you what that guy can do.
Just give him one opportunity. So far, Delaware has kept James Madison bottled up. James Madison had an opportunity early when Delaware turned the football over on their very first offensive play, and I'm sure there were many thinking, shades of the prior 7 Saturdays.
Well, you just can't think about those things. You just shake them off. You know, the fans might have been thinking that, but I'm sure in the offensive huddle, nobody said a word about it. You know, I'm sure BJ kept them together and said, just keep on going.
Time still out here. As Miller, just to the right, confers with the coaching staff. You're right, he's under a lot of pressure, Bill. Just a freshman trying to get his feet on the ground, and got a tough call here. He was hoping that they would redshirt him, and he would have another 4 years of eligibility, but they've decided that the future here at James Madison is now, as someone once said. First and 10 at the 46-yard line of Delaware for James Madison. Miller is throwing it short as he tries to hit Job coming out of the backfield. Victor Job. Clark is out of the lineup right now and has been replaced by Leon Watts. He's another youngster. He's just a freshman. Is Watts. He will be wearing number 10 and will probably split to the far side, and he is splitting to the far side. 5'9", 150-pounder from Evington, Virginia. Second down, 10 at the 46-yard line. Miller, the freshman, trying to beat the clock and beat Delaware's defense at the same time. He delivers it to Job. Job knocked off his feet. Another nice tackle by Ken Pulaski. As the Dukes don't waste any time, of course, with the clock running. The ball spotted at the 33-yard line. Here's the reception out of bounds. Bringing in the pass was Danny Robertson.
I think he was just trying to throw it away there, but he was really open. If he wanted to fire that ball, he might have been able to have it.
They're doing an effective job of getting it over the quarterback's head and in front of Ken Pulaski, but too much to the sideline. We'll get another look at it here. Nice fingertip grab, but it doesn't count for Danny Robertson.
On the Delaware 34-yard line.
Second down and 10.
I'll tell you, all it takes for a young guy to come in is one big play to give him a little bit of confidence. That pass to Clark might have given Miller a little bit of confidence throwing the ball. He looks more confident now than he did earlier in the game.
This time, Watts to the near side, Robertson to the far side. Miller's going to throw it, and it's going to be picked off in the deep secondary by Jim Pulaski. And then the ball comes free, but it is going to be ruled an interception for Delaware as some unpleasantries are changed. Let's take another look at it.
The ball was just overthrown.
Yeah, the receiver was open. And Jimmy Pulaski makes the interception for Delaware. That'll be his third of the ball game.
Yeah.
And third of the season.
Delaware ball first and 10.
First down and 10 for them. They'll try to run out the clock now here as we get close to intermission. And Delaware with the football out over its own 10-yard line. Reeder out over the 20.
They won't do anything fancy here, just try and run it out.
Stoppage of play, and Delaware is asking for a timeout.
Maybe I was wrong.
Always happens that way. As soon as you figure The Hens will keep the clock running and go in and talk things over with a comfortable 9-0 lead, or maybe an uncomfortable 9-0 lead, the way we saw Miller march the Dukes down the field. And if they could get Clark healthy again for the second half, could be very, very interesting. Delaware will be on the road again next week. The Hens only having 3 road trips here in 1983. They won earlier, of course, on the road in Virginia, defeating William and Mary. And in Virginia again, and hoping to pull off another victory in the Commonwealth of the Shenandoah Valley. With all of those great historical names and sites. James Madison, of course, named after the 4th president of the United States, founded in 1908. But not coming onto the collegiate football scene to the early 70s.
Well,
go ahead, Bill.
Excuse me, man. They've pumped a lot of money in the football program. They've got a good team now. They've also put a lot of money into that basketball program, and they've almost been into the Final 8 the last couple of years.
22-yard line for Delaware. Second down, the Hens need 2. Slagle, no, the carry is by Reeder. Reeder just carries it straight ahead for a couple. Out close to the 24-yard line. It will be enough for a first down.
Delaware ball, first and 10 from their own 24.
Again, the field clock not telling us how much time there is to play. Hammond's putting to the near side. That's Slagle in motion. Reeder's going to carry it again. He's going to be a tired young fella. He'll need the rest at halftime. Out close to the 30-yard line, just short of it. Hammond a little slow getting back to the huddle.
He was exchanging pleasantries with one of the defensive backs back there.
He'll be replaced by Mike Lane, number 88, and Hammond comes to the sideline.
Second and 6.
Second down and 6 for Delaware. And I believe that will do it for the first half of play here between James Madison's Dukes and the University of Delaware's Blue Hens. The first half is history in this first meeting ever of the Dukes and the Blue Hens. And on the bench of Delaware, Len Holmquist and Bill Maley ready to go with second half football action. Delaware and James Madison. Mickey Stennett will kick it off for James Madison, kick it out of bounds, and we'll have a re-kick as Delaware receives to start the second half of play. And while they bring the football back upfield, Bill, we can take this opportunity to talk about the statistics of the first half. As expected, it has been all Delaware for the most part. They lead in the contest at 9-0. Delaware has 8 first downs to only 3 for James Madison. Rushing, Delaware's defense has done the job. They have held the Dukes to a minus 16 yards on 17 rushing attempts. They do have 56 yards in the air, most of that on the one long pass play to Clark for 24 yards. But total offense for James Madison, 40 yards. Instead, it re-kicks it to the far side. Tim Slagle is tracking it down, and it's going to hit and roll into the end zone. Slagle is on the field to return the kickoff along with Chris Heyer. John Cason, we saw him bumped early, and he came into the contest with a slightly bruised shoulder, a shoulder sprain, and he has been in and out. He fumbled on his first carry and has been in and out throughout the first half of our contest. Delaware has 142 yards total offense in the first half, but of course turnovers always the big key, and Delaware has capitalized.
They scored right off the 2 turnovers by James Madison. That's the story so far.
Slagle will stay in and operate as the left halfback. Here he comes in motion from the 20-yard line. First and 10, higher, and they just stack everything up. Do the Dukes. Primary stacker is Anthony Evans, the outside cornerback, sophomore from the nation's capital. Nothing on the first down carry. Second down and 10 for the Hens. Hammond is going to set out about 6 yards into the near sideline. And here is Reeder, knocked off his feet behind the line of scrimmage. And he does manage to get back to the 20-yard line, but coming across quickly was Mike Setzer, the defensive tackle on the right side. He's a junior from Clintwood, Virginia.
They do a lot of gang tackling, which is a good sign. It shows everybody wants to play, everybody wants a piece of the action.
Third down, and Delaware will still need almost 10. James Madison shifting.
They caught the unbalanced line that time.
Webster going long for Hammond, and it's almost picked off here. Almost making the interception for James Madison. Tony Thomas, the cornerback from Martinsville, Virginia. Thomas has 2 interceptions to date, trying to make it 3.
Well, that was the first time Delaware's gone deep on him. They were throwing a lot of short passes early in the first half. In fact, in all of the first half, I think they were trying to catch James Madison sleeping, thinking that Delaware wasn't going to go deep all day.
Mike Anderson with Reeder blocking in front of him. There's Dan Reeder setting up to Blake. Block for Mike Anderson. He's been a story in himself here in the first half.
Another boomer.
And Clark is not back to return this punt. And Harris will cover it for Delaware here at the 37-yard line. We had Leon Watts in as the return man. Clark we saw injured on the long pass reception.
He's not coming in now to play wide out either.
The big pass play, the big offensive play in the first half for James Madison. And limping it all, Gary Clark, number 80, comes on to run at the spread receiver spot for the Dukes. Talking about Anderson punting in the first half, Mike Anderson, 4 punts, 46.5 average, and a long of 53. We have a Duke shaken up way back upfield.
That's Jim McHugh, the nose guard for him.
Well, the reserve nose guard's a sophomore from Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, and that's why we're having the delay here. Spectra Vision bringing you University of Delaware football. Len Holmquist and company this weekend on the road with Bill Maley. Rhode Island will be where the Hens will go next week. Clark splits to the far side. Roadcap, Jerry Roadcap in at quarterback. 1st and 10 from the 36. And Roadcap's going to dive forward. Out close to the 40-yard line. Vaughn Dickinson, Charlie Bright, Joe McGrail, all in on the stop. McGrail hadn't seen a whole lot of service through the first 7 games, and of course starting here today in place of Jeff Howdenskill, he's definitely held his ground as the entire defense has done a great job for Delaware.
Well, he's really the 4th defensive tackle. They have Bryce, Hardenshield, and then Leaks, but Leaks is hurt also, so he can't back him up.
Here's Roadcap scrambling, and down he goes as Dickinson will get a sack. He knocked him off his feet, just got the ankle. Back here at the 37-yard line, another sack for Delaware's sack attack is Roadcap. Goes down, nobody to throw to. That means the secondary's doing the job, Bill.
They are doing the job, but I also think that the Delaware defensive line has surprised a lot of people this year. That was supposed to be the weak link in the defense this year. And as you said, they're called the sack attack now.
3rd down, and better than 8, with Robertson split to the far side. Clark here to the near side. They'll throw it to a man swinging out of the backfield. That'll be McPherson. He'll be stopped short of a 1st down. As Jimmy Pulaski neckties him here at the 42-yard line. Short of a 1st down, and Stennett will come on to punt it away. He punted a half dozen times in the first half. Averaged 40.3 on his punts. And had a long of 59. Campbell returning for Delaware. He's at his own 15-yard line. No pressure. Campbell steps away from one man. Joe Campbell carrying that football just a little bit dangerously, Bill, but he gets a good return out to the 32-yard line.
Well, he goes straight ahead with the ball. You get a lot of guys back there. They try and outrun everybody to the sideline. Joe Campbell knows what he can do and knows the best way to get yards is to go straight upfield.
Yeah, what's the old saying? That east and west is fancy, but the north and south is what they want to see.
True.
1st and 10 for Delaware as the offensive front now with Hammond only split out about 4 yards. Delaware very compact on offense, and they give it to Reeder.
They're still trying to work that middle.
Up close to the 35-yard line. The middle really hasn't broken so to speak, for James Madison. Bent, yes, but not broken. That carry is good for about close to 4 at the 35-yard line. Reeder, in the first half, carried the ball 17 times. Boy, he was looking forward to intermission. He had 58 yards.
They were hard yards, too.
Yeah, they were. Second down and 6, and Heyer's going to pick up a couple of more tough yards. The Dukes really don't do much fancy. They don't look that tough, but they are pretty hard-nosed football players. Just a yard for Heyer, a little bit better than a yard. Third down and 5 as Pontiacus comes off, and Tim Sager comes in as the tight end. And he sets up tight to the far side. Hammond is split to the near side. Flag goes down as Slagle takes the pitch out, and he'll have a first down here at the 45-yard line, but we'll have to check out the marker.
Slagle on the carry, stopped by Thomas. Flags on the play.
And Slagle a little bit slow getting up. And he doesn't even really get up. He kind of rolls here to the sideline. I think the AstroTurf is taking its effect on the Hensville.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely tough to play on. I don't see how teams play on it all year, let alone practice on it.
The step-off, as Slagle is assisted here on the sideline, is going to be against Delaware, so that wipes out his run for a first down, and he paid for it. He still looks a little woozy.
That AstroTurf last year just about knocked out the defensive line up at the Temple game, took out Joe Valentino and Ron Rossi that game.
Third down, and Delaware will need 10, a little bit less than 10 to be completely accurate. Webster drills it high. D'Arienzo makes the catch. Great grab by Gary D'Arienzo here at the 45-yard line. He was up there in no man's land. No receiver likes to see the ball come whistling up there high, where he knows a defensive man like yourself, Bill, is going to take a crack at him.
I'll tell you, D'Arienzo always seems to make a catch. Last year, I remember him dropping 1 catch all year. That includes practice, games, anything. He's kind of in the mold of Jay Hooks, a little guy with quick, and he's got the best hands around.
He hangs on to give Delaware a first down at the 46-yard line. Heyer needs a blocker out in front of him and cannot get the effective block. Now remember, Delaware is playing without some front line.
We got a 15-yard penalty on either Delaware, James Madison, Paul Hammond, and defensive back Smith for James Madison. We're exchanging pleasantries for the second time this game. I think the referees are going to put an end to that. There was a little bit of rough stuff going on all through the first half.
Now we'll have to wait for the step-off as the flag was dropped, as the play unfolded. And it appears that it is going against James Madison. Well, the Dukes, Bill, they've lost 3 in a row. Delaware's got them down right now at 9-0. They're certainly not out of the contest, but the personal foul is called against James Madison. They probably have a little bit of frustration building up.
Well, that's true. Right off the bat, there were a couple cheap shots thrown in the game, by both sides, and neither of them like to see that, and neither's going to give an inch. A little intimidation factor there.
But Delaware picks up yardage on the step-off to the 36-yard line of James Madison. D'Arienzo's down, but Webster is down as D'Arienzo made the cut to get open at the 20-yard line. Webster looked at him, but he goes down under the good defensive pressure by Mike Setzer. Setzer is making his presence felt along that defensive front. He's a junior. Fitwood, Virginia. Pretty good size at 6'2", 234 pounds. And yet another ball player is shaken. John Cason, out of our view, comes to the sideline. He is definitely bothered by a shoulder problem. His left shoulder. He is holding his arm very, very still.
And we said a few words about Guy D'Arienzo before. He hasn't caught that many passes this year, but they all seem to be in pressure situations. The big one at UMass, and the rest of them seem to be 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15 when he makes the catch.
D'Arienzo from Park Ridge, New Jersey, a junior, 5'9", 170, with those great hands.
He might work himself into a starting spot by the end of the year.
In the first half, Webster throwing the football was 4 for 6 for 32 yards. Heyer had 3 of those receptions, good for 15 yards. Tim Slagle had the other for 17 yards. Injured on the play, but now up and walking off under his own power is nose guard Chuck Taylor, number 54. Second down and 13. Webster dropped behind the line for a 3-yard loss in the first down play. Heyer in the slot rate. .35 and knocked back here at the 36-yard line by number 1, Bill Breakwell. Breakwell, strong safety from Jamesburg, New Jersey, putting the hit on B.J. Webster. And the Dukes, after giving up that 15-yard penalty, have come up with a couple of nice defensive plays. Delaware will run up to a 3rd down and 11 with D'Arienzo going to the far side and hire the wingback here right. Reeder directly behind quarterback Webster.
You might look for the tight end Sager, too. They haven't gone to him yet this game.
Here's the pitch, and it's going to be almost intercepted. D'Arienzo, the intended receiver, but then almost making the interception for James Madison was Pete Smith. Smith, the free safety, almost picking it off. Number 22 to the sideline. He wanted that one. He's only had one this season. There's another look at it. D'Arienzo was the intended receiver. He had cut, and then here comes Smith, and no one gets it. Mike Anderson, who punted for Delaware, and he kicks it off the side of his foot, and Watts, number 10, he'll just watch the football go out of bounds, and Anderson will chew into his game average, and he's had a good game, punting-wise, in that first half, as we pointed out. 46.5-yard average on 4 punts. 1st and 10 for the Dukes, who are trailing here. 3rd quarter action. Len Holmquist, Bill Maley with Spectra Vision, bringing you the action from James Madison in the beautiful Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. 1st and 10 for James Madison at their own 23-yard line. Jerry Roadcap, number 11, he's running them, and now here is obvious. Well, somebody didn't get that snap count right. And the most embarrassed fellow right now is big number 77, Bill Lindner. He ought to know better, too, Bill. He's a senior. You would figure after all those years. Roadcap, he's pleading his case, but he's not going to get anywhere as the Dukes huddle back at their own 15-yard line, inside their 15-yard line. 5-yard step off. And he knows he did wrong. 5 yards back to the 17-yard line. 1st and 15. Ben Edwards and Danny Robertson, twin receivers, to the far side. Clark is to the near side, but they just ride into the middle. Delaware waiting, of course, for that play. Their defensive front of the Hens has done a good job the entire ball game. The receiver, the carrier, was Larry Bland, senior running back from Clinton in Maryland. Here's another look at our offsides play by 77, Bill Lindner. Well, we'll get a good. Well, maybe we'll get a look at it a little bit later. Roadcap back. Now he's undecided. His pass is completed, and they build a fire around the receiver here at the 30-yard line. Making the reception is Ben Edwards, junior tight end, good size, 6'3", 224-pounder.
It's still not enough for the first. They had good coverage. They made him run out of the pocket there. He just picked off probably his 3rd receiver he was looking for.
3rd down, and James Madison will still need about 3 here at the. They need to get to the 33-yard line, just over the 33, and they're at their own 30. Clark limps into the near sideline.
Comes the pass.
Here is a quick pitch to McPherson, little shovel pass. McPherson getting the shovel pass from Roadcap, but the Hens are looking for it, and again, the defensive pressure is there. Greg Robertson quickly spelling it out. It'll be close to a 1st down, and we're going to have the chains brought in for a measurement. But Delaware leads it. Delaware scoring. Dan Reeder on a 2-yard plunge